welcome back to Japan, where we're checking out Band-Maid's Unseen World album, going through it track by track, doing reactions and reviews, and we're on to track number 11, which I believe is called Honkai, if Google Translate got that second kanji right, because I only knew the first one. As always, this is the review. If you want to see the reaction video, that is posted with a place that you can find it with the little link in the description below. If you've been watching these, you know this already. Click on that, it opens up a separate little YouTube player where you can see the song, just in case you want to see my first initial reaction that I just did, or in case you just want to hear the songs you haven't already. And like I said, I would encourage you, if you haven't heard the album, do go out there. It's on streaming platforms. I think everywhere in the world right now is available, and also you can buy it on CD if you enjoy it, so please remember to support bands. It's a good thing to do. Anyway, like I say, here comes the review. So if you haven't heard the reaction or the song, pause this and check it out first. Otherwise, spoiler alert, here it comes. Don't say I didn't warn you. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to call this song Honpo because I know that the first kanji is either Hon or Moto. But, you know, the second one I had no idea, and it says Po, and considering this is Band-Maid, Po is a sound that we can all appreciate. So, Honpo it is. I don't know what that means though, because pretty other from not knowing the kanji, I don't know what the kanji means. So, this song was, how to word it? It was very much a familiar one. Now, Band-Maid have a certain style of writing, and I think one of the interesting things thus far about this album, and obviously we've only got one track left to go on the standard version, but one of the interesting things is that, well, if you look at their previous albums a lot, especially the first two that they wrote themselves entirely, which was Just Bring It and World Domination, you heard there were certain similar melodies that came around a couple of times, and I think that was just because there's a certain style of melody writing that they usually go for. This is something that most bands have, a sort of signature style of melody writing. And so, interesting thing about this album is this album has gone for some very different styles of melodies. You can see the melody writing in this has been much more varied, and I think that was a knowing choice by assuming Konami, she's been writing it, to vary up her melody writing style. This very clearly, though, you can just hear this sounds familiar. It sounds very much like it could be from Just Bring It or World Domination. It has that feeling that it's very much the classic style of Band-Maid writing, in my opinion. And a lot of the things about that come through very clearly in the way it's played. It's a very complex, intricate song or the musicianship, as most of the songs on this album are. However, most of that's in the background. It's very subtle. You're mainly led through by this very sort of distinctive melody, and the focus is very much put on the melody leading things. With some bit, get some bits where the bass and the guitar step forwards. I really liked how the solo was done. I thought it was nice. But actually, and talking of that, I do think that they've really responded, as I said in the reaction, to the fact that I think quite a few people, certainly in my comments, were saying that on Conqueror that they just wanted to hear more Misa and they didn't think there was enough of her. And I think that's because the production was so thick and lush and there was so much going on in those songs on that album that the bass was naturally, as it tends to be, mixed into a more bassy area, which means that with less of the higher or mid-range tones, you don't really hear it so much. It becomes more a subliminal thing. So the bass was really great on Conqueror, but it wasn't so much in your face as it is on this album. So here, this again is, you're hearing the bass is almost being rewarded with a lot more attention on this, and I did feel that it came very much to the fore here. So really great work, nice to hear a bit of bass and guitar interplay there. But overall, most of the musicianship was subtle in the background, very much of that sort of classic Band-Maid style where any good band, any really good musicians, they don't have to be right there in your face, don't have to be doing solos. Solos are great, but they don't have to be doing that. It can be a very subliminal thing where you really just sort of take it in if you're listening for detail. And if you're not, it's just, like I say, subliminal, subconscious effect. So this, like I say, in many ways, there's not much to say about this that I haven't said about previous Band-Maid songs. I know that we reviewed every single Band-Maid song on the previous album before it got deleted. Sorry, the previous channel before it got deleted. Thus, those have all been lost. But I think most of the people who follow this channel probably already know my comments on those. And there's a lot to like about that. Like I said, there's a lot to like about that good balance of the more subtle aspects and the more in-your-face aspects. So for me, this was a song that just felt like them bringing it back round to Band-Maid classic, going back to the style that, if you like, we are most familiar with them doing. Does it work in the context of the album? Well, yes, towards the end, it's nice to have a song like that that sort of brings you back to a nice, comfortable place right before the end. I'm guessing the way that the album seems to be laid out, I'm guessing that, like I say, they're doing this sort of nice, homely song, penultimate, and then the last one's going to be a lot like Rene was on Conqueror. It's going to be like that blast out to the end. So I get the feeling we're going to have something really heavy to finish this album off. So I think in the context of the album, considering this is clearly a really hard album for pretty much all the way through, I think that this song works nicely towards the end. I think it is definitely one that will feel familiar and cozy to fans of the band. I don't think that it really does anything that we haven't already heard on the album again. I've been saying this about some of the songs towards the end of the album. You know, I think that all of the new tricks that they had, that they were waiting to show us, we have now already seen. I'm not expecting anything particularly surprising from the last song. I'm expecting just a good final crescendo to the album. But considering that, I think doing a song like this towards the end, which is just a sort of a, like I say, I'd be interested to see what the comments are, but I think this is one that will just very much play to long-term fans of the band who, like how I felt when I heard this, will just feel it feels very familiar, it feels very comfortable, it feels very much like them doing them. So, yeah. As always, really looking forward to seeing what you guys think in the comments. Do you get that certain feeling from it that I do? Does it feel reminiscent of their sort of previous albums? You know, the earlier of their own self-written albums, certainly. Yeah, just really interested to see what you guys think of this. So get in the comments, say as always, I just give my opinions as someone who's listened to all their songs and worked with music my entire adult life. But as I always say, just opinions. Everyone's opinions are equally valid, but especially useful when you justify them. So get in there, tell me what you think so that I can do some responses to those. Like I've been saying, there's been a lot of comments coming through, but until I finish the listen through, I can't actually read any of the comments and therefore can't respond to them. And with all the comments there's been, I think I'm going to do a separate video along with my conclusion video, which will follow this as usual. I'll finish the last track, then I'll do a conclusion video. But alongside that, I'll also do a video where I'll respond to some of the comments. I think that's a good idea, just so we can bring all of the interesting things you guys, I'm sure, have been saying all together. So anyway, yeah, like I said, get in the comments, tell me what you think. Liking, subscribing, all the YouTube stuff, greatly appreciated. As always, a big thank you to the patrons for keeping this non-monetized show on the road. Thank you to anyone who wants to follow any of our social medias. They're also linked below. Great thanks to you for doing that. Remember, this is part of a track-by-track listen through playlist, so if you want to hear the reactions to the rest of the album, if you're not already, follow the playlist in the description below. And as always, just a big thank you for making it through to the end of this video. So anyway, until I hopefully see you very soon for the next one, which would of course be the last track on the album. For now, from Japan, ciao ciao.